competency models, role definitions, job family frameworks. How much time and money is wasted on these schemes? In theory, they're a great idea.
Hey, let's write down the tasks needed in every role. Then we can use it for recruitment, training, assessment, and it'll help everyone plan their careers.
In practice, they never work. Now, I spent much of my career in the IT and consulting industries doing training and HR roles, and I've seen so much time and money wasted on competency frameworks and the like. I think my first encounter with one was about 1988. It was all paper-based, of course. New entrants to a technology company were given these smart binders contained within which were an attempt to define all the abilities that were needed in the computer industry. But those are intangible. I mean, it's called software for a reason. And this scheme was a big investment, launched with huge fanfare, and it fell flat. And since then, I've seen many attempts to make this work, and they've all failed. Actually, it does seem to be a way to fail upwards. I remember it was about 2002, one scheme, quite advanced for its time. It was all online. You had to fill in all these little drop-down menus, and it produced this little spider chart. Launched, fell flat. And a few years later, again, the idea, hey, let's define all the jobs, came up, and somebody said, why don't we bring back the person who created that scheme back in 2002, give them another chance? And I said, well, bring back the person who failed to deliver something that worked, bring them back. And his answer was, well, maybe they'll have learned from it and do better next time. It just doesn't. The only competency frameworks I've seen work are when the work is well understood and tangible. So in a sales team, for example, you've either sold deals of this magnitude or you haven't. In an events management team, you've either run these sorts of events or you haven't. If you're a hospital technician, you've either serviced this pacemaker or fixed this ventilator, or you haven't. And the levels at which you've operated are quite clear. You've either never done it, you've done it a bit, you've done it a lot, or you actually lead and show people how to do it. But for any work that's unique or changing or intangible, it doesn't work. And I'm talking here about project-based organizations, so consultancy, perhaps creativity businesses, advertising, I don't know, case-based work where each case is different, or fast-moving environments such as IT. Anywhere where the role is unique and always changing, these competency frameworks just don't work. It's like trying to keep the tide in by nailing the water to the beach. You're trying to specify the abstract, and they do come up with they become ridiculously abstract and meaningless.
Recognised by stakeholders as proactive ambassadors for championing the principles of...
So not only are these competency definitions meaninglessly vague, but managers are asked to assess all their teams at each one and at different levels. The temptation, of course, is to give the higher assessments to people you know, your favourites, maybe people who look like you, or maybe to the people who you know will kick up a fuss if you don't give them a high assessment. Whereas they'll give the lower assessments to people whose work they don't understand, perhaps specialists or maybe people they feel threatened by. But most managers just won't do it at all, and it's not fair to ask. It just creates rows. I mean, the manager might say to a team member, I think in skill D17.4 you're at level 2, whereas the team member will say, no, at skill D17.4 I'm at level 3. It's just not a nice conversation for either to have, and it feels like they're just being cut down and fit into little boxes to please a bureaucratic system and not actually to do anything for the organisation. Also, people quickly discover there's no reward for doing this and no sanction for not doing it. So quickly people don't bother and the whole system fizzles out into not being used. So, okay, a competency model might work if you are in an industry that delivers well-known, standard, tangible results, in which case just use those. You don't need a competency model. But in any other industry, competency models are not suitable. What's your alternative? Well, there are personal characteristics frameworks that try to assess people's personal characteristics, but that's also very subjective. And just to be clear, adding up a lot of subjective assessments doesn't give you an objective result, okay? The alternative then is really to focus on results. What has each person delivered? What value have they created? What have we got this year that we wouldn't have had without you? Of course, it's still somewhat subjective, but at least it's recognised as being a management judgment, not something purely bureaucratic and subjective that's dressed up to make people think it's somehow objective.
This was a video from my channel 5MTC, which stands for 5-Minute Training Courses. Please subscribe for more and maybe find my book on Amazon.